Just like Xabi Alonso led Bayer Leverkusen to the first Bundesliga title, Fidelis Ilechukwu, yes, could lead Enugu Rangers to his first MPFL title. He's been so close, first with MFM and also with Plateau United. The man who started from the lowly ranks has gradually risen and sits pretty much at the summit of the MPFL table with Enugu Rangers. Is this the year of Fidelis Ilechukwu? With that, I welcome you to another exciting edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. We have so much in store for you. Take a look at the MPFL games that went down this weekend. I saw Enugu Rangers retain their spot at the summit of the table. In European football, we saw the El Clasico. We also saw the FA Cup semi-finals. And guess what? We'll be doing a review of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final games. We saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not forgetting the F1. It was 4 wins in 5 races for Max Verstappen. And in tennis, Casper Ruud with his first Barcelona Open title. Don't change the channel. We'll be right back after this break. I'll be doing this alongside my buddy, David. Welcome back. It is still Sports Pizza. Edwin Onyebolise is the name, alongside David. Welcome to the show, David. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Edwin. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Yeah, well, again, my customary question, the highlight of your weekend and your week so far.
So the highlight of my weekend was the social media story that went up, was the Chess in the Slums guy, Tunde Onokwe, breaking, setting the Guinness World Record. I've been following him for a while, the past few years, and he has been doing something very unique, using chess to, take kids off. And now he's getting the global recognition by actually setting this Guinness record. It's a good one for us to see, good one, putting Nigeria on the map. All right,
so they say charity begins at home. Thankfully, David has ushered us into the local scene, and we're starting with the MPFL. A quick run through the games. Aqua United defeated Aqua United by lone goal. Plateau United defeated Remo Stars by a lone goal. Rivers United defeated Enugu Rangers 2-0. Niger Tornadoes defeated Doma United, the same scoreline 2-0. Castina also defeated Sporting Lagos, who are living dangerously close to the relegation zone. Kano Pillars trounced Gombe United, while Sunshine Stars and Enyimba played out a 1-1 draw. Abia Warriors defeated Bayelsa United, and Heartland, yes, put a dent in Shooting Stars' aspiration for continental place with a 1-0 win. David, where do we start? Rivers United, Enugu Rangers. It was a loss for Enugu Rangers. A win for Rivers United, who need to climb up the ladder.
Absolutely. So I think they have a huge backlog of outstanding games, about 6 before the weekend's game, and now they've taken one off. Beating a team like Enugu Rangers, who are chasing the title. Fine, Enugu Rangers have been positive. They built a healthy lead, which is why they are still on top of the table, even with that defeat. But I think they now need to start looking over their shoulder, because Enyimba are slowly inching closer, likes of Plateau United, and even, Rivers United are going to try to claw as many points from those 6 outstanding games and, get to. So it's hitting up a title race we're having in the MPFL. Good for us to see. For
Enugu Rangers, it feels like the stars are aligning. You lose to Rivers United, you still retain the top spot with a 2-point advantage. And remember that home form is very crucial to these sides at the top and also at the bottom. But we're still sticking with the top teams. For Rangers, do you think with 7 games left, they can get to the finish line ahead of the Enyimbas, the Lobby Stars, and maybe I'll add Plateau United?
Well, I really hope they do. They've built a head of steam over the course of the season. They went under the radar and then found their way to the top, and it seems like, okay, they just need to stabilize and, get the results. But results like the one against River United will not help them. But thankfully, their home form is, is good enough to see them through. So I hope they can. I think they can see it through to the end.
And for Remo Stars, it was a painful one. Lost to Plateau United. They have an outstanding game. Do you think the pressure is getting to them, because they've had a lot of mixed results the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think the pressure is getting to them. Daniel Ogumodede and his boys. They are a good team. They play very well, but results like this going to away grounds like, you know, it play two, and then, you know, when you face tough teams in the FPFL, you need to raise your game, and I think they've not, that's still the level they've not cracked. But hopefully they can still push it, to not give up and try to push it. 5 points, and with an outstanding game, they win, they go 2 points behind, and then they push it through to the end.
For Sporting Lagos, Abdullahi Bifo's first game in charge, lost to his former team, Katsina United. And like I said, Sporting Lagos are living dangerously on the edge.
Well, I think because it's the Nigerian Premier League, and we think, you know, we expect a lot from a team that just got promoted. We, you know, the hype and all the fanfare around them was what made them get to this level. But I think when reality sets in, we see that what they have done is probably what a newly promoted team is expected to do. So I think, well, hopefully we will see them, you know, try to consolidate. Their home form is what is going to see them through if they are even going to remain in the league. But away from this season has been very, they've not gotten any point away from home in the league this season, which is a terrible one. But hopefully they can remain in the league and then consolidate and build on from here.
All right, a quick look at the table. The top four, we have Enugu Rangers in first position, 54 points. Enyimba second with 52 points, level on points with third place Lobby Stars, who dropped points against Bendel Insurance. It was a disappointing one for Lobby Stars, while Plateau United complete the top four. Remo Stars are just slightly behind Plateau United on goals difference, but hey, they have an outstanding game. They win that game, it takes them to second on the table. The bottom four, Bayelsa United, Akwa United, Heartland and Gombe in that particular order. Heartland are looking for a miracle, why it feels like Gombe United are condemned to the NNL. The still faint hopes for the likes of Bayelsa United and Akwa United. Away from the NPFL, David, Nigerian players abroad, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, it was a mixed bag for Nigerian players over the course of the weekend. Alex Iwobi and Calvin Bassey suffered a 3-1 loss, but I'll not talk about that. I'll talk about Chidera Ejuke, a player with a lot of promise was expected of when he made the move to Germany. Hertha Berlin struggled, you know, went to Russia, and now he's with Antwerp of Belgium, and he got a goal for them in their 1-0 victory, you know, in the championship playoffs in Belgium. They've been winless in 4, but they finally got a win thanks to his goal. Also his teammate Alassane Yusuf, who was very instrumental at the Nations Cup. You know, he broke out at the Nations Cup, and he also played 89 minutes in that game. So it's a good one for them. Hopefully they can. They're the defending champions in Belgium, but they've not been doing well. Hopefully they can, you know, defend their title. We had Rashidat Ajibade, the Super Falcons captain, you know, got a goal and an assist for Atletico Madrid Femenine, you know, in their league victory over Real Betis 5-1. And so it's a good one for her. You know, she has stepped up. She got the goal that helped Super Falcons to get to the Olympics for the first time in 16 years. So it's a good one. She's actually showing that she can be the leader that Super Falcons did with Asisa Doshola, you know, floundering behind the scenes. So I think it's a good one for her. In Scotland, Odessa has got 2 goals for Rangers against Hearts in their semi-final victory, and it's setting up an Glasgow final against Celtic in the Scottish Cup final. So it's a good one for him. He has gotten 19 goals in the Scottish League this season. It's a good one for him. Hopefully he can find his way back in. He was part of the squad for the March Internationals, got a goal in the win against Ghana. So I think hopefully he can rebuild his confidence and get back to Super Eagles of Nigeria. Hopefully more Nigerian players, as the season is coming to an end, more Nigerian players will continue to develop good performances going into, you know, the June qualifiers against South Africa and Benin Republic. And
for Ashley Pumpter, the Super Falcons defender, she went under the knife over the weekend. We're wishing her a quick recovery. The Olympics is just a couple of months away. In fact, in June, we're edging closer to the Olympics. Wish her a quick recovery, and hopefully she's back in time to represent the country in Paris. Talking about the Olympics, we're hearing that their preparations are on the way for athletes. Nigeria will be in the Bahamas on the 4th and 5th of May for the relay qualifiers. We're wishing them all the best. All hands are on deck. We're hearing that ministry have released funds and for a smooth qualifiers. Hopefully we get a good, decent running in the Bahamas. At this point, we'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll switch focus to other sports and, of course, wrap up the show with plenty of football. Welcome back. It's still Sports Pizza. Edwin alongside David in the building. Remember to follow our social media handles now displayed on your screen. David, let's go to Formula One, where it was a 4th win in 5 races for Max Verstappen. But for me, the driver of the day has to be Lando Norris, the McLaren driver, finishing 2nd on the podium and holding off Red Bull's Sergio Perez.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a big deal. You know, we've had a lot of Red Bull 1 and 2 this season, and for you to come in the middle and, you know, break that duopoly, I think it's a good one for him. I think probably this is a come get me play for Red Bull for next season. I want to take Sergio Perez's seat, but it's been a consistent driver on the circuit, and I think he can build on from here. But for Max Verstappen, the Australia debacle of a few weeks ago is completely forgotten, back to his usual dominant best, and he cleared, if you know, the first sprint race of this season. And we thought maybe okay, Mercedes will give, you know, a challenge in the sprint, but it shows that this season is here for business, and he just blitzed the complete circuit.
We're getting to the point where by mid October or maybe September, we already know who is going to win the 2024 F1. We want to see an entertaining, competitive F1. Please, Max, tone it down. Just allow these guys win 1 or 2 races. Let's have an exciting 2024 F1. In tennis, it was the first win, the first title for Casper Ruud at the Barcelona Open, defeating Stefano Tsitsipas in straight sets. And yeah, he's a player who has shown a lot of promises, but it seems to lack that mental edge, especially at Grand Slams.
Absolutely. So he's quite a young guy. He's 21 actually, but well, they say if you are good enough, you are old enough. But I think he's coming into, you know, clay, where I think is his best surface. He's very strong on clay. He was in the Roland Garros final last year, so I think it's a good one for him. His first major title on the ATP circuit. It's a good one for him. Hopefully, he'll build on from here. This going into, you know, the Madrid Open and then subsequent tournaments, even going into Roland Garros also. Probably will, you know, give up more good performances.
All right, let's leave other sports and switch back to football, David. Should we? Yeah. We saw some exciting games in the UEFA Champions League, and we had the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the good. The good, some will say maybe Dortmund have gotten to their final stop, but what a performance against Atletico Madrid at the Signal Iduna Park.
Oh, absolutely. So if you watch the first leg, they were quite good in that first leg. They missed some couple of chances, struck the bar 2 times, and Atletico got 2 early goals, and then they totally fizzled and allowed Dortmund into the game. So it felt like, okay, going to Signal Iduna Park, Dortmund were going to, you know, deliver that kind of performance again. And, you know, the likes of Jadon Sancho and Marco Reus and Julian Brandt, you know, took the stage, and, you know, they totally dominated Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid were even fortunate to get a goal that probably kept them in the tie, but Dortmund, at the end of the day, overran them and took their attempt into the semi-finals.
All right, still more good. Real Madrid, against all odds, went to the Etihad after 120 minutes, took it to penalties. Modric missed the first one. But there's something about Real Madrid in the Champions League. There is an unwritten law that to win the Champions League, you need to beat Real Madrid. I'm just kidding. But again, once again, the experience of this side, they defended well. They got their goals when they needed to get a goal, and they are through to the semi-finals.
Absolutely, and I think this is where Real Madrid, you know, comes to. That's why they have 14 titles. You know, it doesn't matter who is on the field on the day. It's just the mentality and then the mental aspect they're able to generate to get. You know, everybody felt going to the Etihad, they were probably going to consider. Looking back at last season's semi-final against Real Madrid, against Man City, they considered 4 in that second leg. So I think they came with a game plan. Fine, people will say, okay, they were not planning to sit back the entire game, but they showed that defensively they can be very solid. And then they kept Man City at bay for as long as they needed to, and they saw it through to. They got the goal when they needed to get the goal, and they put Man City under a lot of pressure. Man City struggled to get into the game. Fine, they possessed, they tried to create opportunities, but they didn't create clear-cut opportunities, as people said. Possession was there, but the opportunities were not there, and that was courtesy of Madrid's defensive display. Rudiger and Nacho Fernandes, special shout-out to him. So I think they did what was needed to be done, and they showed why they are the best team in this competition.
All right, let's talk about the bad. Sorry, Arsenal fans, you fall into this category. It was the best Arsenal side the last, should I say, decade? Is that fair?
It's fair.
Versus the worst Bayern side in the same time frame. Bayern went to the Emirates, got a 2-2 draw, came back home at the Allianz Arena, and we saw all of the experience of Bayern come to fore. But this feels like a missed opportunity for Arsenal to leave a mark in the Champions League.
So yes, it does, on the nature of, the basis of the performances that we have seen from both sides over the course of this season, and also, how we expected Arsenal to go into that game. But when you look at the quality that Bayern possess, fine, they've not played up to their standard this season, but when you have Harry Kane, when you have Leroy Sané, you have players like, Serge Gnabry, and you have Jamal Musiala, Manuel Neuer, experienced head. So I think that was what counted in the game. Arsenal, showed that, fine, they have what it takes. They are progressing in the right direction, but the experience is still the factor that is missing. Arteta has built a system, but he doesn't have those players that can, stand up to be counted when it matters. I think that's where Arsenal fell short in this fixture. Probably next season they will build on from here.
Can Arsenal win the Champions League with Arteta?
Yeah, they can. I think they can. I think he has shown there's something to work with. This is their first. His first. We need to remember that this is his first attempt at the Champions League, getting to the quarter final, losing to 6-time champions. I think is a big deal. But I think if he can iron out some of the errors in the first leg, he should have won that game. Getting a 2-2 draw in the first leg was going to make the task a very uphill one. I think that's where they need to fix some kinks, and then I think they will move on from there. Arteta has shown he has it.
And finally, the ugly. Barcelona fans, you fall into this category. But PSG fans, not to worry. You fall in the good side. Yeah, they got a red card.
Yeah.
Araujo. At that point, Barcelona had a 2-goal advantage when you put the aggregate score. Coming from the first leg in Paris, taking a 3-2 lead, going to the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona, getting an early lead, you felt like Barcelona were in cruise control of the tie. And on the basis of what we saw, they were going to get they could have gotten a couple of more. It was a rash moment from Araujo, and an inexperienced moment for him. But the manner with which they capitulated should be a cause for concern.
Yeah, I think so. I think even Xavi himself, the manner in which he capitulated, he got sent off in that game, let's remember, and he couldn't control his emotions. He let the emotions get the best of him. Ironic that, over the weekend, Araujo released a book on the art of defending, and then he committed a blunder of that magnitude. I think in that situation, he didn't need to foul the player. Even if the guy had gone on to score, you'll probably still be ahead 4-3 on aggregate, and you can see, but allowing your teammates to chase the game play with 10 men for over 70 minutes of the game, it made it difficult. Especially a team like PSG, he gave them the upper hand. He completely swung the tie in favor of PSG, and PSG did what they needed to capitalize and took advantage of all the lapses that we have seen in Barcelona that they've shown over the course of this season. Remember, before Xavi announced his resignation at the end of the season, I think Barcelona were in a terrible place, and then when he announced it, the storm cleared and they started playing well. But those failings were still there, and I think they all came to fore, and PSG exploited it completely.
But for the semi-finals, it is PSG versus Borussia Dortmund, and of course, Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. And this takes us to the El Clasico. Over the weekend, Jude Bellingham, once again, like he was the match winner in the reverse picture. He stole the show he gave me. It was a complete performance.
Absolutely.
At times, you felt Real were arrogant. But when push comes to shove, the biggest players stand up to be counted.
Oh, absolutely. I think Jude Bellingham has shown that all he has achieved over the course of his career is not a fluke. He's the man for the big occasion, and he has, he delivered. He does what the things that you expect a player of his stature and his position to do. Control the game, and also came clutch in the 9 minutes of the game to get a winning goal. I think Madrid have, they are coasting to the title. 11 points now. I think it's done and dusted, and I think they will now face the Champions League squarely and fight on both fronts. In
England, we saw the FA Cup semi-finals, Manchester City versus Chelsea. Pep Guardiola had every right to be livid with the scheduling of the fixture. We saw a very poor City side, but expectedly, coming from the 120-minute action against Real Madrid. But for Chelsea, the game was there for the taking.
Absolutely.
Nicholas Jackson,
he has blood on his hands.
If you pulled his jersey, I'm sure there was a City jersey underneath it. He played in favor of City, not in favor of Chelsea.
Oh, Nicholas Jackson. See, the real indictment of Chelsea's transfer policy is the fact that you spent over £1 billion and you end up with Nicholas Jackson as your top centre forward, and then Nkunku, who is always injured. So I think something went wrong in that. That deal needs to be investigated. Money exchange, that guy is so raw. For a player who has had 1 or 2 seasons of top European football in Spanish La Liga under his belt, to still be playing, lacking the basics, technicalities of a top centre forward. I think a lot needs to be done, and that's the fact that Chelsea need to move forward, get a better striker. I think Pochettino came out and made an indefinite statement that okay, from next season he's going to be involved in the transfer dealings, which means probably what that happened over the course of the last 1.5 years was not his doing. So I think Chelsea need to get better, get a better striker. The quality is there. We can see, the 3 games against City, they've gone toe-to-toe with City and they've created chances. And I think they can get better, but I think that's one of the reasons why I think Pochettino should still stay on the job. But Jackson,
a Manchester derby, because Manchester United had to take the hard road to Wembley again. It was embarrassing. It was 3-0 up, allowed Coventry, who are having a rather average season in the Championship, currently 8th on the table. And for Manchester United, and especially Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who was at Wembley to witness such a disastrous second-half performance, it proves that maybe Ten Hag's time on Manchester United is over.
Oh, absolutely. I think that performance was the clear depiction of everything that is wrong with Ten Hag's team. 3-0 up and then completely capitulated against the Coventry. From the 71st minute to the end of that game, Manchester United were on the ropes. Coventry battered them, and it felt like, how do you let Coventry, from the Championship, do that to you? So it shows that there's something that they considered close to 400 shots. They keep conceding shots. When anybody that plays United now feel that we can have a go at them, get a chance, I think Ten Hag really needs to say his bias.
Quick fact: 27 goals from 19 games in 2024. That's what United have conceded in this year. Yeah. Very, very embarrassing. All right, we've come to the end of today's show. I'm sure you had so much fun with us. We gave you all of the tidbits from the world of sports. We'll be back same time next week. But remember to follow us on our social media platform. If you enjoyed this show, there's more on the YouTube channel and a lot of other exciting programs. It is still Sports Pizza. I'll leave you with the video for the week. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. It is au revoir. And David, once again, thanks for being around.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Edwin. It's a pleasure as always.
All right, have fun. God bless you.